This is a production of KMmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show... Not such a simple show as what I normally do, because I'm a little bit out of my element, but that's great. And I've got a room full of people here. And by the way, thank you for tuning in. It's Friday, 3:00, and we're happy to have everybody here. And KIXI is our new home on Fridays at 3. And I want to thank everybody for putting up with us. And we got a great show for you today. And I've got a wonderful young lady who I'm going to introduce in just a moment. But first, Eric, how are you?
I'm doing well, Kevin. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Back in the studio. It's a rare thing these days.
I know.
It's nice.
I was talking to my son on the way up here, and it's like I'm kind of retired now, so I don't get out during rush hour. It's like, what are all these people doing on the highway?
Yeah, it's we've definitely come back to life, as far as being in the office and back in the studio and hitting the clubs and all that stuff.
Oh, it's great to see. It's great to see. Although it's been 20 years since I've hit a club, so I think it'll be a while before.
Well, as long as the club's not hitting you, then I think we're okay.
Exactly. And I want to thank you for being here. You add so much to the show, and we really appreciate it.
Always fun.
So thank you so much. And by the way, are you a fashion guy? I know you're a musician. Do you know anything about fashion and that kind of thing?
I like to think that I have a certain style. I don't know if that equates to fashion, but yeah, I try and keep up, I guess.
I have a certain style too, but I don't know what it is. So
as long as you're comfortable in your skin, I think that's the most important thing.
Or my clothes. Well,
yes.
Either one works.
Exactly.
Yes. But we've got a great show because we've got a fashion designer. We've got a photographer who does some really cool things. And we have Miss Washington, who's the cherry on top of the sundae. And so she's right here, and her name is Amber Smith. And Amber, welcome to the show. How are you?
Okay.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, Kevin. How are you?
I'm awesome, thank you. I always do well, especially when I get to be around fashionable people doing great things. But the reason you're here is because you're going to help me guide us through the conversations that we're going to have next.
Yep, I brought David Bailey and Maria Venturini, and David Bailey runs Fashion District Northwest. His next show is Saturday, July 22nd. Is that right? Okay. It's Cars for Couture, or Couture for Cars. Couture on Cars. Oh, and Cars. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. I just butchered it here.
That's okay.
Couture and Cars fashion show. And then he's also starting another fashion show September 30th, Fashion in Flight. So can you tell us a little bit about the Coutures and Cars show?
Well, first of all, before we go there, let's talk about the magazine first, because both of these folks are in the magazine, are they not?
Yeah, yes, they were in our first edition, the spring edition, 2023 this year. Actually, our opening edition. And I knew Maria and I knew David and kind of handpicked them for the magazine.
Yes, indeed. So if you want to pick up if you want to get a digital copy of the magazine, you can go to kmmedia.pro, and there's the name of the magazine is Northwest.
It's the Pacific Northwest Collaborative Magazine. You can find us on Instagram at PNW collab.
Perfect.
Mag, I think. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I just forgot our Instagram.
It happens. It happens.
Yes.
So anyway, thank you all for being here. And,
Yeah, thank you.
And take it away.
Sure. Yeah. So did you want to tell us a little bit about the Couture and Cars fashion show, David?
Yes.
Yeah.
This will be thank you for having me, Amber, and thank you, Kevin, for having me. We are doing our 5th annual Couture and Cars fashion show Saturday, July 22nd at the LeMay Museum, LeMay America's Car Museum in Tacoma, Washington. It's right next to the Tacoma Dome. This will be our 5th time doing it. We actually had Maria in there a couple years ago at participating in one of our shows. It's our 5th annual show. We've got 6 couture designers showcasing. We'll have we run doors open at 6. Event goes from 7 to 9, and it's a lot of fun. It's really merges our love of fashion and cars, and it's kind of a unique fashion show setting for us to be able to put on a show. And we're excited for that. We still have tickets available. We've sold out of our VIP seats, which we're only a week away, so that's a good thing. But we have about 90 second and third row seats left for the show for the next Saturday.
And I believe me and Maria are going to be attending. This will be my first time attending Cars and Couture. Or Couture and Cars. I keep saying it backwards.
So does that mean that if you are listening to this and you want to go, but you're like, oh, my husband probably won't want to go. Well, there are cars involved. So just tell him that they're antique cars. Is that right?
We've got we've got a couple different collections at the museum floor this year. The LeMay America's Car Museum's got their Porsche collection. So they have vintage and modern Porsches on the main floor, probably about 20 to 25 cars. They've got some absolutely beautiful ones. I think my favorite is the 1950s Porsche Roadster. Absolutely gorgeous little convertible that they've got. They've got quite a bit of collections. On the main floor, they've also got kind of a mix of collections. I know right now they've got a hot rod sitting in the middle of an old 40s hot rod, as well as the 1960s Mustang Eleanor, from Gone in 60 Seconds movie. We've got a very similar replica of that. So a lot of unique cars on the actual car room floor. It's one of the reasons why we set up this show to be the way that it is we've got a lot of women that will come to the fashion shows, and I'd probably say typically it's about 80% females. But for this show, we actually draw on a lot of the guys that are usually hesitant to come to fashion shows. We draw a little bit bigger audience of males that want to come and just check out the cars, and we'll come with the women to check out the fashion as well. So we try to blend a little bit of both in the fashion show to make sure that people got a view of not only the fashion and the cars at the same time. So it's a kind of a unique show for us to be able to put on.
Now that's what they call marketing.
Thank you. And for the website, it's www.coutureandcars.com, which you can find and get tickets on from there.
Thanks for telling us about that. I wanted to let you know that one of my first cars was a Maverick. I think it was in 1970s. So that totally just came to mind as you're talking about these cars.
It's amazing that there's a lot of vintage throwbacks. And last year we had a Alfa Romeo that was in the middle of the fashion show, and it shocked me. It was a $20 million car.
Oh.
And had no idea. And somebody asked me, if you go, okay, pick out the most expensive car in here, it would not have been in my top 20. But they go, nope, this is almost an original Alfa Romeo, pristine collection, pristine condition, and it's $20 million just sitting in the middle of the runway for us, which is awesome. But I don't think of cars as museum pieces, but I mean, we're talking, these are works of art, and it's why it's in a museum.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Imagine how much a scratch would cost. That would be pretty. I wouldn't drive it. I would leave it. I'd actually hire for 20 million. I'd hire an armed guard to stand next to it its whole life.
No, I agree right with you. I think some of these haven't been driven in years. They're literally moved into the venues carted in on trailers, and I don't know if how many of them are still running to this day.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Ford Mustang. I remember my good friend, his father, bought a brand new 1965 Ford Mustang in 1965. That's how old I am. So anyway, keep going there.
Oh, sure. So I also brought Maria Venturini. She's a wonderful, elegant fashion designer. And do you want to tell us a little bit about like your brand and what Venturini Couture is committed to? And
Well, my name is Maria Venturini, and I'm a fashion designer and a principal owner of Venturini Couture. And Venturini Couture is committed to the promotion of sustainable design and using the fashion platform as our um, vision, positive and vision. It's also, like you said, elegant is the signature of the house couture of Venturini, and it's inspired by the couture houses from Paris and Milan. Like, I think it's very elegant, Dior and in the 1930s. I mean, it's just, I would have loved to be in that era and have money to be able to buy clothes there. And also, we do upcycle and using recycled material and um, some, you know, high-end fabrics mixed in within. It's more or less, I'll say 83, maybe close to 90% recycled materials that it was something else before and it's turned out to be something gorgeous and elegant. Yeah. And this is a way to give positive thought to all the clients to help us change the environment because fashion is so sad, but is number 2 in pollution, contributed to pollution in the world.
yeah, something I appreciate about your designs is that I really do feel like the lady that I wanted to become when I put on your work. And I can't tell you that I have ever worn anything from anybody who has given me that gift of
That feeling.
that feeling. And so that is why I love your work so much.
Yeah,
And
and if you see my work, it's very simple lines. It's not like, they're very simple, very elegant, and they're classic. So it's one of the things that Venturini has is timeless, elegant, and unique because I use recycled fabrics and pieces here and there, and I put them together, different textures, and I never really know uh, what is going to be the outcome until the end. So I'm not the kind of fashion designer that draw and then sew. No, because I can't. Because I see, I get the pieces and I look at them and I sit there and I go, what can I do with this? So then I started put it in mannequin and start draping and see. But then I have a vision, and then at the end, the outcome is totally different than what I started. I start adding or taking things,
I
Yeah,
remember
it's so much fun.
we were going to New York Fashion Week together in 2021, and we kind of just added in the bow ties too
Yes.
for the event. So that was kind of fun to kind of
Yeah, I took to New York Fashion Week my recycled glamour that the fabrics and stuff that they used to be like a shower curtain or any other things that I disconstructed and I did,
yeah,
and also upcycle.
yeah, I believe didn't I give you a few pieces to kind of like
Yeah, yeah,
recreate?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes,
So that was pretty
yeah,
fun. So and I think this was part of a piece that
yes,
the blue I'm wearing a is this a powder blue maybe?
yeah.
What color? Powder blue top. What's the name of this cut?
Uh, it will be a halter top
Halter top. It kinda
with
has, like, a little collar up here at the top, and then it has, like, this little bow tie with rhinestones coming down the center, and, yes,
it's a halter top poplin because it has a little skirt on the
yes,
bottom.
it does have, like, a
Mhm.
little poplin.
And it's that bareback.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And by the way, if you want to go to Positive Talk Radio on the YouTube site, because we'll have that on video, and so
Yes.
you can go look at that, and you can see the beautiful top that Amber has on. It doesn't look like a curtain anymore. It, do any of you remember the Carol Burnett show?
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode that she did? Then they were doing a parody of Gone with the Wind, and she was wearing the curtain.
Oh yeah, all the way around. Yeah.
You guys remember that?
I don't remember that one. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So
It's just
you and
me.
me, we're kind of
Yeah. Well, and see, so you take just to make it clear for folks, you take recycled materials. It could be a shower curtain. It can be a
a
curtain.
dress. It could be a dress or a pair of pants. Anything. I just take it apart, wash it because I throw everything on the washer before I do. So most of my stuff you can throw in the washer and wear it.
Very good. Go
I
ahead.
think she used her wedding dress. Did you not tear apart your wedding dress and like recreate
Oh
it?
yeah.
Mhm.
I use my wedding dress because I'm divorced now. So why should I have? My daughter didn't want to wear my dress, so I make her dress the way she wanted it. So I deconstruct my dress and I do a totally different thing. And it's also in my website in the recycle glamour part. That's uh, what I have, all that whatever it was before, and it's turned into something beautiful.
Yeah, my wife's wedding dress ended up in the dumpster. That is just the statement. I'm going to leave it sit there.
Well,
So
Maria's made it to New York Fashion Week, right?
Yeah, I made it to New York Fashion Week,
Mhm.
and I have here one piece that is shown in the New York Fashion Week as a couture piece, and it's
that's
a
beautiful.
living room curtain. It's just, it's organza and embroidered, so why not? You can use that. It's a wraparound blouse, long sleeve, poplin with a bow tied on the waist, and here we have the skirt that it has some little pleats at the waist, but also you can see all the embroider on the bottom. So yeah, and then that one you can throw it in the washer and the dryer, and
Now that is really elegant. That is very. You wouldn't think that was made from recycled materials at all, and the sleeves are so sheer and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And this one was a simple dress, and then I took it apart and fixed it and put some um, rhinestone, sequin tulle, and made it elegant and long.
Very
And
pretty.
then I have in here is a pantsuit, a wedding dress. Nowadays you go and buy your wedding dress, and then after that you just take it, throw it in the closet, and it's hanging there after you pay thousands of dollars.
You were in my
Well,
house.
this is $800,
That's beautiful.
and it's a multi-purpose. It's a pantsuit with a halter top, and it has a tulle skirt to wrap around, representing, for you guys to they want to get married in. And then you can take it apart, take the tulle skirt out and use it in the reception, or use that for another occasion, and you put a gold belt or a red belt and just use it, and it's made out of a shower curtain. And this was shown on Seattle. It says recycled. No, Seattle Recycle Art. It's one, and if you go and see that, and I think it's 2021. My dress, a model is wearing my dress, and it's the picture of on the website or on the YouTube thing.
Oh, very good. And your website again is?
It's www.venturinicouture.com.
I have a question for David, and I've always wanted to know this. I've known you forever, but I've never asked. Why is it that you chose to get into the world of fashion? You seem very passionate, very dedicated to this world, and I'm just kind of curious, like what drives you?
I oddly enough, I started off as a fashion photographer, and that's how I got into fashion to begin with. And the more I started to do, the more I'm like, okay, I want to get involved with shooting more designers and more models. I'm like, well, to make these connections, I started working more fashion shows, and then I started working more fashion shows and realizing the people that were running the fashion shows needed more help. So I got more involved in doing that. And it's almost kind of become a complete flip for me. I still do fashion photography. Actually did a photo shoot for Fashion in Flight, which is on our website. Did the photos for that show just recently. But I started off just wanting to help out and realizing that there was a need for it. And I get more involved with the designers and realize, okay, as much as my background isn't necessarily fashion, but it is understanding the business world, understanding how to market yourself, understanding how to and I've learned a lot over the years from different experiences and stories that have been told me from other designers. And it's a very difficult niche to get into for designers to make it where they want to be. We all think that it's a great industry to get into, but it's a very challenging and difficult industry. So part of our company, Fashion District Northwest, is kind of focusing on the connecting and educating part of things. We want to be able to help designers get to where they want to be. It's a weird industry in the sense that it's a lot of it's focused on designer oriented. If designers are designing and selling, the fashion industry will be strong in that region. So part of my company is focusing on how can we help designers not only create and showcase, but how do we help them also sell that stuff so they're making the money to be able to sustain all the other aspects of it, whether it's photo shoots that get involved or models that get involved or magazines and involvement. It's all kind of a dependent on the fashion designer part of it. So the more I could get involved and kind of help them, and I've just realized that I'm a great people. I think I'm a great people person. So being able to work with them and have a heart to kind of help walk them through those situations has been great. And I've known Maria for a number of years. She did our first show, one of our first shows for Couture and Cars. I think it was the second year back in 2018. And I'm excited to announce that she's going to be a part of Fashion in Flight. It's an inaugural show that we'll be doing on September 30th as well.
Does that involve airplanes?
Oh, it does. It does. It does. It does. Yeah. Oddly enough, I went from a car-themed show to an airplane-themed show, and we're going to be doing a fashion show at the Museum of Flight. They've actually partnering with us on this event, which is absolutely exciting for me. They came to us and said, "Hey, we'd like you to produce a show." I'm like, "Done. Let's make this happen." So on September 30th, we're going to be doing a show at the Museum of Flight in their grand hall. The show is actually going to be models will actually be walking around a Blackbird plane, which is absolutely stunning. There's planes not only on the ground in the venue, but there's planes in the sky, as they've got a dozen or so planes that are actually hanging from the ceiling in there. So it's a rather unique venue, and I think it's going to be a fun place to showcase couture fashion.
So now that is a venue that really has something for everybody.
Yes.
Including they've got stuff from the shuttles.
Yep.
There, and they've got stuff from Apollo, and now you can take the kids and the husband and let them go wander around this museum, and you go to the show.
And that's kind of what we're trying to do with both of the shows. Actually, is encourage people to go and spend a day at the museum beforehand, and then come to the fashion show afterwards. We pride ourselves on having a kid-friendly show in the sense that we allow ages 10 and up. I've got nieces and nephews, and I've wanted to get them involved in fashion as well, although my youngest niece is only 11 now, and she came to her first fashion show last year. So it's kind of fun to be able to have a family-friendly show. Not all fashion is necessarily family-friendly, so it's been kind of nice for us to find designers like Maria, that's a very talented designer that's putting on beautiful gowns and garments on the runway, and be able to showcase those designers and highlight some of the amazing and talented designers that we have around the Northwest.
That's cool.
One of the reasons I really appreciate like David Bailey's shows with Fashion District Northwest is it is family friendly. It's well organized, well run. We have a lot of fashion out here, but like David's really stands out to me. So that's why I just really wanted to promote you on our
I,
first issue because I'm like, this guy needs to be more people need to know about him and his events.
I really appreciate
So
it. It's
yeah.
from my viewpoint, Kevin, I'm sure you're the movie Field of Dreams fan.
Oh yeah.
I truly believe if you build it and you build it well, they
Mhm.
will come. And it was amazing for us coming out of COVID for Couture and Cars last year. Is typically we've the outpouring of support that we had coming out of COVID was amazing. We had ended up selling out so much that we ended up offering a standing room only ticket, and then we sold that out. Ended up having our biggest crowd yet, about 525 people
Good for
at the
you.
Lin-May Museum last year. We're little, if we sell out of our second, third row, then we'll also offer a standing room only for this year. So it's possible we still may sell out for this year's event, which is awesome. We're expecting somewhere around 400 to 500 people for Fashion in Flight, which will be in September. And those tickets are online as well. And that information can be found at www.fashioninflight.org. And we're excited about that. It's fun bringing these events to the Northwest. And again, it's, my viewpoint, and Amber talking about me, I like to really point the finger towards the designers that are doing this, because they're the ones that really need our support. They're the ones that put so much of their heart and soul into this. And I'm wanting to provide a platform for them to be able to showcase it and get the appreciation and the exposure in the Northwest that they deserve.
Yeah, when me and Maria designed the bow tie, we designed it in honor of people like you in the fashion industry because the fashion industry sometimes isn't as, you know, clean and fun and family friendly. And so this was kind of a little symbol that we came up with because I was having a good experience with there was many people that I had great experiences with. We always talk about the bad, and people, I don't know if it's just like our habits to like kind of like, kind of not really focus on the good. So when we went with this bow tie, it was let's focus on all the good out there in the fashion industry. And so that's kind of where the little bow tie theme came from. And so I just wanted to let you know that this was kind of like done in your honor and among other people's honor as well, for just being you know, just being a good representation in the fashion industry.
You're famous now.
Yeah.
If you say so, I will just take it with a grain of salt. I don't feel like I'm famous. I feel like in a lot of ways I enjoy what I do and I'm passionate about it. And I think that, like you said, with Field of Dreams, if you build it and you build it well, people will come. And it's been great to see the sport come out to these events.
Well, next one we'll have to come up with a football and fashion show, and I'd even go to that. I might even, yeah. Anyway, by the way, we're talking with Amber Smith. She is Miss Washington, former Miss Washington, and Maria
Venturini.
Thank you. I can't say that. David Bailey, I can say all day. So we need to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more with both of these fine guests and about fashion in the Northwest. We'll be right back. Hey, PTR loyal listener. First, thanks for being in my dream. And second, I have a new concept in business to share with you. It's called socialpreneurship. So, what's that? Well, it's the idea that any company designates all profits beyond expenses to be awarded to a local or international charity or project which is working to achieve good in the world. KM Media is such a company. We believe that it's important for us to give back whenever possible and to make great things happen. So I hope you'll join us in creating this new business model that will positively impact all of us. In the next few weeks, we will lay out the plan and begin our fundraising efforts. So stay tuned for more details right here on Positive Talk Radio.
When you want to say more than words communicate, you can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal. anaturaldesign.com at your fingertips today.
Hey, thanks for listening to Positive Talk Radio. Did you know that we're also a media production company? Well, surprise, we are. We can create all kinds of audio, video products to fill any need. Please visit kmmedia.pro/our-store for a complete list of products and services. In addition, do you need a great voice to add to your own website or any other project? I know that we can add depth and quality to your work. I've been told more times than I can count by many professionals in the business that my voice adds to the quality of the presentation. So, let me create something for you. Please contact me at kevin@kmmedia.pro and let's create something great. And welcome back to Positive Talk Radio here on KIXI. It's Friday. It's about 3:35 in the afternoon or thereabouts, and we're glad everybody's here. Traffic, of course, is heavy, so relax. Stay in your air-conditioned car because it's nice and warm out there, and you can listen to us because Amber Smith, a former Miss Washington, is talking with Maria
Venturini.
Thank you very much. And David Bailey, and he's a fashion photographer and a programmer now, doing all kinds of different things. He's also, we were talking during the break, he's a former college coach, and so he's we're not quite sure how we made that connection yet, but that's we'll figure that out. So now it's got to be, you got to get it together with Pete Carroll and do fashion and football.
Oh, that would be a dream of mine. And we're always trying to invite some of the Seahawks to come out to this. And one of these days, I would love to get one of the Seahawks to actually walk the runway for us. So we'll see if that ever happens. But
good luck with that.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a challenge to get, but some of them do like the spotlight. So
yeah, but
they look great in suits. So I mean, some of these guys definitely know how to dress.
In the locker room, they would never hear the end of that. In any event, Amber, take it away.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about fast fashion because I want to know what that is. I know Maria has been bringing it up here and there, and I want to know what it means.
Well, fast fashion is where we have now that every 2 weeks is fashion is changing and invites everybody to buy and buy. And I'm not against consumerism or capitalism, but the materials that they are using now are very poor and they rip really easy from one or two. So 1 or 2 times that you wear, then you have to get something new because it's not good anymore. So then you give it to thrift stores, and like I mentioned before, fashion is the number 2 in the world contributor to pollution. So saying that is like, first of all, when they produce the manufacturers, like in Bangladesh or over there, they use chemicals and dyes and whatnot. And then all the water that runs through the manufacturers, they go to the water. And then the people in town use that water to water their crops. So there's a lot of sickness over there. So that kind of includes fast fashion because they're producing more and more and more water goes and people are getting sick. And I know that most of us here, we don't realize how is our clothes done, and there's a lot of competition between designers that they send to manufacture for the masses. And that's one of the things that I don't like. So that's why I'm customize my pieces. And they compete a lot to get the cheaper price and the cheaper material. But they're not really taking care of how the manufacturing people live because they're breathing all the dust from the fabrics. Even me, when I work, I had to wear a mask because there's a little dust and I start coughing and stuff. So, they're breathing now, they're affecting their lungs. And then, like I said, well, you go buy 2 weeks later, you buy another one, and then you throw it away, like I said before. And not everything is sold by the thrift store. So there's part of it, there are companies that they put it in packs, pallets, and then take it to Central America, and people buy them. And whatever they don't buy, they go and grab all that and take it to Chile, to the Atacama Desert in Chile, and they throw it there. So it's polluting a desert. All the little animals or whatever is there that aspiring and eating polyester and all kinds of chemicals. Because that's more or less what the materials, their blends are. And there's not, I would like to go back to the like the cotton fabrics, the natural materials like before, and to the natural dyes. That's, I would like to know how to dye stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I said, I don't condemn the consumerism, but we need to learn from this, and that's where I'm coming.
Yeah.
I can reuse that fabric instead of throwing it away. I can do it in something else.
I can appreciate that as a fiber artist. I like to work with wool and natural dyes
Yeah,
myself. So
yeah.
I make puppets, you make dresses.
Should
Did
we-
you have something to say about that, David? You sounded like
I mean, the fast fashion industry has really kind of come up when we've gone, okay, we want to, everybody's wanting to get a better deal. So buying cheaper prices. Oh, is this cheaper?
Yeah.
But it's not quality. And I think
Yes.
that's what we're trying to say in our fashion shows is, hey, let's buy quality. Local designers are trying to say, hey, let's make something worth quality that you could wear multiple times and have over over an individual's lifetime.
yeah.
The thrift store industry is based on materials and stuff that was made quality. You're finding something that's vintage from the 60s, 70s, and 80s going, okay, it's lasted that long and it's still in good enough condition. What
Because
fast fashion nowadays is doing is, Marie's right. You wear it 3 or 4 times and it goes through the wash a couple of times and
have
it
holes
literally
in it.
disintegrates and it's then thrown away and then goes into landfills. So not only is it hard on the environment to process to create them, but it's also then finding itself to landfills and just being landfill in a lot of situations. So being a little bit more wise on how the consumers are in the sense of like you may spend a little bit more, but it's going to last a lot longer. So it's I think finding ways of kind of educating people on that's going to be helpful from the sustainability of things and especially the fabrics we use and in Maria's situation of using upcycling and recycling of finding fabrics that were already created and going, let's give it a second life, whether it was a previous dress or curtains or
Yeah.
tablecloths or whatever it might be is kind of a unique way of being wise and fiscally responsible as a designer from a fabric side of things, but also good to the environment and still creating amazing dresses. And nobody know that it's a shower curtain, but in a former life, it was a shower curtain.
Yeah, I know even as a fashion model or when I was modeling, I refuse to push trends because they do get tossed. And I want to promote, and this is why I went to Venturini, because I want to promote the basics because I want to, you can mix and match. I mean, so
Yes.
many things. And
Yes.
you won't find anything in my closet that's trendy. My daughter kind of complains a little bit about that, but like I just love the basics and it looks good. Sometimes those
It's
trends, they don't quite even look that great, they're just kind of trendy and they kind of, you know,
yeah.
move on from that.
And
So,
also, a lot of the youth nowadays,
mhm.
they want to wear what's late in fashion. And what's late in fashion because a Hollywood actor or actresses wear it. You don't know if it's going to look good on you, but you just want to wear it because she wore it. And you create your own fashion. You create how you look with something well done,
Yeah,
but not what they call it half-as done.
I always think the person should be the fashion statement, not the
Yeah,
clothing,
yeah.
right? Like you
And
want
then
to,
what you wear is what it speak about you.
yeah.
So it's really that it's a way to express yourself, how, what you're wearing.
I appreciate
And I
that.
like classy, so I guess.
It used to be, see, way back in the 60s, everybody did that. They were expressing who they were and what they were about and stuff. I did have a question for the two of you. I heard, now correct me if I'm wrong, and you will, is that the fashion industry and is one of the higher users of petroleum products. Is that true? Have you heard that?
About what, brother?
Petroleum products.
Like oils.
Oil.
Petroleum? I think it's in the blends. That
And
is
the
the fibers.
polyester
Yeah,
blends and that sort of
yeah, and the
thing.
fiber. Can think of it not right now, but it's some of the fiber. And you can test if it has petroleum in it. You cut a piece of the fabric, and you light a match, and it goes. Psoop. Yep, it's made out of petroleum.
Well, there's a lot of synthetic blends that we've
Yeah.
over the last number of years, we've tried to get creative of like, okay, for example, from a sustainability of sense, we've decided, some people have decided leathers are not, it's cruelty to animals to use leather. So we've created synthetic fibers that are trying to mimic in a lot of ways. And what we're finding is that creation of synthetic fibers are not, yes, it might not be it's helping from the ethical aspect from the animals, but it's now creating its own issues. Those fibers are very thin, and breathing those things in and are not necessarily good for us. And I'm assuming some of them probably do use petroleum products. I don't know that for sure, but I know that they're creating things that, that we've getting a little bit farther away from using the natural fibers. And I think we've got to be cautious, not only in some of the old ways of doing things, but in some of the new ways of doing things. And I think just being conscious about what we're doing as a fashion industry and how it impacts others. And so many of it's the impressionable ones, as we're talking about trends and stuff. And trends are great. I enjoy trends, but I think also making sure that we're coming from a mindset of sustainability and utilizing that quality aspect. If we're just getting something and being willing to throw it away in 2 weeks, we need to have more of a long-term focus on what we're doing. And I think even just from a fashion closet side of things, I think so many people get away from what are your fashion staples, what are the things that you have to have. You can always trend off of it. You can always have a pop of color to work on a little black dress, but the little black dress is iconic for a reason. Because you can style it up, you can style it down, you can wear it so many different times and ways. To spend money on something like a little black dress makes way much more sense than going and buying a fast fashion, something that you're going to wear once and then, okay, now I'm going to throw it away type of thing.
I've always said that. That's why I always shop for a black dress.
I was interested to hear a little bit about where your inspiration came from, Maria. Maybe
My what?
your inspiration, or
My inspiration.
or your
Well, my upcycling inspiration come up from my mother. So when I was little, we didn't have money to buy new clothes or new shoes. I always go to the shoemaker, put another sole in it, and stretch it to make it bigger. My mother used to sew everything for me, and she used to collect all the clothing from my older cousins, and she will took it apart. And I was always sitting by her. I always tried to emulate her, that I wanted to cut fabric and stuff, And she uh, from just a little piece and here and there, match them up, and it come out something beautiful for me that my cousin will see me wearing, and they say, "Oh, I know that fabric," but yeah, it was your whatever, your coat, or And my mom used to do that, so that's how I got inspired by her. So it's kind of like doing this in her memory.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I think one of the amazing things that I run across with designers is, it is you got to have the talent to be a designer. Like Maria is very talented and has an eye for this. But like she says, she's been doing this not just for 5 years, not for 10 years. She's been doing this years and years and years, and developed the craft of the sewing skills that required to do this. I think it's one of the lost arts that I feel is happening in society these days. It is a trade skill that's passed on from generation to generation, and so many kids nowadays, I don't think a lot of parents even have sewing machines anymore.
No, they don't.
So even little alterations like, well, I guess we can't get this, or let's make sure we buy something else where it is already fit to them, instead of going, oh, I can hem the pants and
Yeah.
do this and that and the other.
I have a lot of clients that are coming for me to, they have the hem undone. They don't even have a needle and threads they can fix it or put a button or simple things like that. So to me, it's okay.
Well, Maria, you
But-
should know that I'm writing kids' books and they will be including patterns that the children have to cut out and sew to make puppets so that way they can gain skills.
Oh,
So
that would
we
be
have
cool.
we have a lot in common, even though we've got like two different. I'm in the fiber arts, which is I don't know if you know what that is, but it's
Yeah.
it's
Made out of wool.
wool and embroidery and silks and everything natural. But it's not fashion, but it's still teaching those skills
Yeah.
and really promoting to the little guys because there really isn't a lot out there. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping to eventually bring the fiber arts back to the family and back to the children. So
Yeah.
just wanted to share that. We
We
have
can
that
do a
in
little
common.
collaboration.
Yeah.
Does-
A Venturini puppet.
Do any of you do anything with hemp?
I have some,
No, not
like,
that kind of hemp.
not that kind of hemp. You
The-
mean like jewelry or like
No,
you can
you can make
crochet.
fabric out of hemp. Did you know that?
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be
They are,
Yeah.
there are hats made out of hemp. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
The other
So
one that cracks me up is bamboo. I mean, bamboo
Yeah.
fabrics is another one
Yeah.
and it's a sustainable fabric that we can, easily get more of. And
you can't get rid of bamboo out of your yard if you tried. It just keeps coming back.
Coming back, yeah.
Have you guys
I
ever
think it's renewable, so it has a cycle. You just take it and it comes. It's like the trees. You cut a tree, you plant a tree, and the tree will grow. So, if we put 2 trees, when we cut one, that will be wonderful.
have you guys ever worn bamboo fabric before by chance?
I've got bamboo sheets. I mean,
Okay.
I haven't done. I don't think I've had any bamboo fabrics, clothing fabrics.
I've worn it. It's my favorite shirt.
Super soft.
Yeah, it's just the best.
It's kind of like linen, very,
Mhm.
very fresh and cool wearing. It's really nice. And also, I've been worked before with pineapple leather.
Really?
I've never heard of that.
and cork leather.
I have a pineapple allergy, so I probably should not wear pineapple leather.
I was thinking about having a pineapple pizza. So in any event, let's go over your information because we're going to run out of time here again. David, tell us what you got coming up. You've got cars and airplanes and people wearing clothes.
Sure. So the company's called Fashion District Northwest. We produce 3 fashion shows, 2 of which are coming up soon, which is the Couture and Cars Fashion Show, which can be found at coutureandcars.com. And that's on July 22nd. And we still have tickets available. And then for September 30th at the Museum of Flight, we have Fashion in Flight, which can be found at fashioninflight.org. And we've got some amazing designers that we're going to be showcasing for both of those shows. Maria being one of those for Fashion in Flight. So we're excited and would love to see many of you come from Radioland, come to the shows.
If somebody wants to get tickets, how do they get to the car show?
Ticket links on our main website, so coutureandcars.com. You can also type that in, you'll find that. But if you go to coutureandcars.com, one of the main buttons on the website is tickets.
And that's right next to the Tacoma Dome.
Yep, right next to the Tacoma Dome. It's pretty easy to access. We've got free parking for both of our shows. We've got free parking today and age. I don't know if you went and saw what was going on at the with the All-Star weekend, but having to pay $120 for parking for All-Star baseball seems ridiculous. But we've got parking set up for free within walking distance of both of the museums, which is great and nice things. But tickets for Couture and Cars cost VIP is $85, second, third row is $55. And then for Fashion in Flight, we've got tickets at $80 and second, third row at $50.
Are you kidding? Parking down by Safeco, or what's it called now? It's not Safeco Field, but anyway,
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile Field, $125 for parking.
$120, yeah, was what they were charging for parking over the weekend.
How much was a hot dog, I wonder? Anyway, that's capitalism at its finest. So in any event, so, and Marie, you're going to be featured at the show on the 22nd.
No, but I will be there as a guest. But I will be featuring my fall winter 2023-24 at the Museum of Light. So whomever wants to see the new what's new for fall and winter, they can come to the Museum of Light and see it.
And that show will be on September 30th, Saturday, September 30th.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And you can get tickets for that on fashioninflight.org.
Very good. And Amber, you've got a magazine that just came out.
Yeah, I got a magazine. We're still accepting some submissions. I think we have about maybe 3 more spots. The deadline is going to be end of August, I think. Preferably sooner if you can, but you have till August to get your stuff in, and then we'll release again sometime in September, the last couple of weeks of September.
But you just released one now.
I did.
And where can they pick up a digital copy of that?
They can pick that up on your website at kmmedia.pro.
Surprise!
Yes. And then Maria and David are going to be collaborating with Holly Berry and me on the next autumn cover issue.
And some of my pieces that I'm going to show on the 30th are going to be there.
Yes.
Yeah, one of these days we'll have to have Holly on the show. Just kidding. Yeah. Well, you guys are, it's tremendous what you guys are doing with you creating fashions out of garments that otherwise would be in a landfill somewhere.
Yep.
And I love the marketing of combining cars and airplanes with fashion so that you can appeal to the entire family, and you might even get some crossover.
Yep. We're just trying to keep it interesting, keep it exciting, and try to draw on as many audience members that might be interested in either the cars, planes, or the fashion.
That's just super. So, Amber, before we go, we've got a minute and a half. I'm going to give you the opportunity to say anything about these two or fashion or anything that you would like to say.
I would definitely be attending these events. They are family friendly, so bring your kids and enjoy fashion with Maria and David.
You got a minute and a half left. Keep going.
I have more time. What do I say? Do you guys?
I would just say thank you. It's been great to have an audience, and we're excited about what we're doing, and it's an opportunity for us to get for these designers. So thank you very much for having us today.
Oh,
yes, thank you so much for having me. And I'm trying to put a little bit of 2 cents into everybody's head to help with pollution and to make this world better for future generations. Thank you for letting me speak about that.
From your mouth to God's ears, we need to get that handled because it's. I'm looking out here. It's a beautiful building, and we can see the sun. And when you look directly at the sun, it's because there's haze between here and the sun, and it's not quite as clear and as beautiful as I'd like to see it. So we have some work to do.
Yes.
Again, by the way, you're listening to Positive Talk Radio on we're on KKNW Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we're on KIXI on Friday. So it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so you can't keep from missing us. Eric, thank you very much for being here. And by the way, everybody, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. We'll see you Monday.